All right. It is go time. I think 10 o'clock. Hopefully everything's up and running. How's everybody doing today? I see there's a few people in chat. Excellent. Okay. I noticed somebody asked me if I was going to be in Scarebeck this weekend in the pre-chat. Sadly, no, I will not be in Scarebeck. I wish I could be, but things didn't quite work out. It's been a few years since I've been there. Would have been awesome to catch up with everybody. But maybe next year or the year after that. We'll see. We'll try and get there again at some point. How is everybody doing? Yanis in the chat. Fabio. Emser. Colomban 275. Itavix. Cool. Hopefully everybody is doing great on this wonderful Friday morning, at least where I am. What are we building today, Yanis? Good question. We are building a Micropolis module, and we're going to try and motorize, well, maybe not motorize the train, but, well, we'll add a motor to the module. We'll get the train moving in some way, hopefully. Our Hamburg is in the chat. Congrats, Jason. For those unfamiliar with Micropolis, this is a Micropolis module. So it's basically just a system for building micro-scale cities. And it is modular, so that this is the basic plate design. So it's 16 by 16. It's got Technic bricks on each side. It's got a standard for a roadway. So what happens if you put 4 of these together, I kind of got a bit of a head start here today. I'm just building a complete city block, but the standard just defines these small blocks. So if you put 4 of them together, like so, and because of the Technic holes, you can connect them all together with pins. 4 of them together defines a city block, and then if you just keep adding to it, you get these wide roadways. And in that way, if you get a group of people together who all design a bunch of these, you can put them all together and have a cool little city. A bit like a biome, our Hamburg. Yeah, a little bit like a biome, I guess. You can define whatever, or you can build whatever you want on them. Most people build cities, but you can do like park space, buildings, what have you. And the beauty is that they're all different and they all mesh together to form a nice little cityscape. Just like a real city, you get all kinds of different styles of buildings and such. Okay. Wow, how do you plan to motorize something so tiny? Well, yeah, obviously I'm not gonna... I started building these small little trains because this is about the scale of this Micropolis standard. I don't know. I think the scale is pretty fluid. You can play with it a lot, but I think I'm gonna build these trains. Obviously, you can't stick a motor in a train like this because it's pretty much impossible. I won't say impossible, but very, very challenging, and certainly not with any of the standard LEGO components I use, or even the third-party components I use. So we're gonna have to get a little bit creative, and we're not gonna do anything too complicated. I'm just gonna try and get them to move back and forth. So it's like some kind of commuter train that just takes you from one end of the city to the other. And we're not gonna move very far here. We're just gonna try and do this, but that I'm sure will be challenging enough on its own. Okay, so what else is going on in the chat? So many people commenting. Excellent. Thanks for everybody for being here. Jason Long, recently bricklaying to your galloping horse, and the parts arrived today. Oh. I was cheap, thus bought used white parts. That's fine. Do what you need to do. Oh, they look kind of whack. Wow. You just get a more accurate coloration on the horse, probably. Are you going to use magnets? I don't think I'm going to use magnets. Motorized. I will try and motorize the mechanism. Yes. James Barnes, hello from Australia. Hello. Morris DeGroot, where did you get that shirt? This shirt is quite old. Actually, a friend of mine gave it to me. But it's from like 2011. It's from a company. Actually, it's on here. Brickshirts.com, which no longer exists. Which country are you from? US. I'm from Canada. Oh, Joel Peck. These streams come at such an excellent time for me. Well, aren't you lucky? R. Hamburg already revealed the plate. Oh, no, I have not. Oh, yeah, that's the other thing I was going to do today. Okay, so we're going to pause. Now chat's going. We got some people here. We're going to pause on the build because I got something in the mail earlier this week. I got this thing, which I have not opened yet. And we're going to do that right now. Hello from Denmark. Ooh, ML. Are you going to Svigerbæk this weekend? Well, thanks for all the congratulations. Okay, let's, without further ado, let's pop this thing. All right, that should do it. Okay. Actually, I don't know what the best way to do the reveal is. Maybe this way. We'll see what's inside. Nice foam thing. Ooh, look at that. Oh my gosh, it's so big. Takes up the whole box. Congratulations on your subscriber milestone. We are honored to take part in recognizing your achievement. Want an experience to be exceptional. Oh, this award was inspected and packaged with great care by Rick. Thanks, Rick. And then, of course, a nice letter from YouTube. I will not read it now. I'm sure it's a nice form letter. Oh my goodness. The thing is actually quite heavy. Okay. Just gonna put the box away. Let's go back to full view. Here it is. The thing is enormous. Oh my goodness. Presented to JK Brickworks for passing 1 million subscribers. Awesome. It's got like nice shiny inset gold play button shape. 2 holes on the back for hanging it up, although I have never even hung up. My silver play button is still in a box somewhere. You need to make a Lego frame for it. Yeah, maybe I do. I don't know where to put it though. I clearly did not plan ahead enough to even, I should have left a space on top of my shelves for it or something to put it up there. Anyway, that was fun. It's pretty impressive. I definitely would not have gotten here without a lot of you guys subscribing, so thanks a lot for that. Messy studio, yes indeed. Anyway, thanks so much for the congratulations. Okay, but enough of that. I'm actually not really much for numbers, so you know, it is what it is. It's awesome that I got that nice cool token of reaching that milestone. That's pretty cool. But I don't even know if I'll put it up on the Lego workshop. Okay, anyway. Time to build. Okay, so I do have a vague idea of what I want to try and do here. So as I said, we're gonna have this train and we're gonna go back and forth. So there's a couple different ways we can do this. And I'm gonna try to just push it back and forth with a lever, which seems to be, I got a bunch of these out already. These are little mini turntables. So what we can do, we actually want it to travel back and forth quite a bit. So the full travel is probably, I don't know, 16 studs. So one way of achieving that is to magnify the movement using a lever. Just like you can lift heavy objects with a lever, you can also traverse greater distances with a lever. So for example, if I mount this turntable here and I push this back and forth like 3 studs on this end, this will move back and forth, well, who knows how many. It'll be magnified basically by the multiplication of the distance between the pivot point in this end and the pivot point in this end. So, you know, it's probably like 4 studs from the pivot point to this end, and I guess it would be 12 from the pivot point to this end. So you're going to magnify the motion by 3. So if this goes back and forth like 3 studs, this should go back and forth like 12 studs. And that way we can use a smaller crank on this end to push this back and forth. And then we can get a greater distance of travel on this end where the train is hopefully going to be attached. Phillips square wheels like the LRT, yeah. Yes, our local commuter train in Ottawa here has had a history of problems, even though it's brand spanking new. So hopefully this won't encounter as many problems as the real one. Fan of Hero, what's your favorite build that you've ever done? Not just for the channel. Actually, it's probably something I've never posted. So it'll be hard to explain it, but someday maybe I will. Chris Lemon, do you have a video talking about your organization storage? There is an old one, yes, from our old house. So it's probably like 6 or 7 years, but the storage system hasn't actually changed that much since then. I'm sure if you just search for room tour or something on my channel, you'll probably come across it. What are you drinking? I'm drinking tea. It's like ginger spice tea. Okay, so in theory, we need to do this, and because these modules aren't very thick, I guess this is a pretty critical design component. There's basically only 4 plates below the street level, so there's not a lot of vertical space to work with in here. So I can't build up like a pretty thick Technic system. The problem with using Technic lift arms and such is that they are pretty thick. You usually need at least 5 plates if you're stacking lift arms to connect them. Oh, Enthusiastic Bananas in the house. Excellent. We have a mod. It's not going to be anarchy. That's good to have. Okay, so where did I buy it? I bought it from Lego. I don't know if they still sell them on lego.com, but I actually bought it at the airport in Billund in Denmark when I was there. So like 3 years ago. Okay, so because we have limited space, I'm going to my classic old school splat gears. If you've been around this channel for any amount of time or watched any of my recent videos, you know I love these things. So we're gonna basically mount another turntable on this. And that way we'll get a rudimentary crank. These are a new piece. They're relatively new. I mean, they've been out for a few years now, so they're not that new. And then we are going to use that to drive this end of this lever back and forth. But actually, I think I want to move this lever forward a little bit. Of course, one thing we have to overcome is that this end, obviously, in addition to moving side to side, it actually also moves forwards and backwards, which is not in line with where the train is going. The train is not going to follow an arc, although it would be pretty cool if it did. And maybe that's something we can do later or experiment with, or somebody else can experiment. But I just want it to slide back and forth in a straight line. So we're actually going to have to put another link between the end of this and the train itself that can pivot. So we'll get to there eventually. But for now, I'm going to get another turntable here, and then we're going to connect these. And because I want to minimize the amount of vertical space this takes up, I'm actually going to connect these with a tile, so that the studs don't, because the studs will basically add another plate of space, essentially. GFF Creations, are you going to make a short video on this? Probably. Oh my god, he actually used the brick separator. Wow, yes. Brick separators are super handy. I use them all the time. Blocky Blocks will have so many turntable bases from the Taj Mahal set. Yeah. Not quite as useful functionally without the actual rotating part of it. But good decoration, I guess. Okay, I'm going to use a different color for this. So, yeah, as I said, I'm going to connect these with tiles, but I wish they had 10 long tiles, but they don't. So we're just going to... Okay, so now, as you can see, we have a basic crank, and we actually get quite a big travel distance on the end of this, which is good. If I wanted it to move any further, in theory, you could make this lever longer and it would go even further, but obviously it starts taking up an enormous amount of space. Even as this is right now, it takes up quite a bit of space. But it still fits within the confines of 4 of these modules. So it's a good solution, I think, hopefully, for this particular application. But if I wanted the train to move even further, I would probably have to do something else. But we can explore that in another video. Where do you get your parts from? Lately, mostly Bricklink. These days, although I've purchased a lot of sets over the years, so they actually mostly come, probably most of the sets I have behind me come from sets that I've bought over the last like 20 years. Oh, HBB Brick Films. What's your favorite mechanism model you've made? My personal favorite is your Prairie Dog. Oh, I actually just updated the Prairie Dog. I made a new version of it, a bit smaller. Basically the same, but a bit smaller, a bit more well-designed. I'll probably make instructions for it, or release the instructions for it in the next month or so. How do you sort your bricks? Oh, that's a whole other topic. There's a video about it somewhere on my channel. Zafar, yo, I love your vids. Excellent, thanks, I'm glad you do. Okay, so there's a couple things we need to do. We need to attach this to the train. And for that, we're gonna put, as I mentioned, another lever. So essentially, if we tack another lever onto the end of this one, that way the end of this plate can stay straight, can keep going back and forth in a straight line while this one follows an arc. And then in theory I can mount like a train on this. And then in theory this train can go back and forth. Oh, but I need to make that a bit longer. Oh, and there's some interference. I'm just gonna like rejig this a little bit. Because this one's gonna be at an angle, that corner actually hits this plate down here. So I could actually leave more space here, but I don't wanna rebuild all this. But if it's flat, it actually gets to go a little more further. So I'm actually just gonna put a little chicane in this. Patrick Coombs, hey JK. are you doing any more modules for the marble run at all? Still waiting to get the 1 meter tower working. The marble run. I mean, I have no plans at the moment to do it. I would love to revisit it, make another video. And actually, I know people want instructions for some of the other modules, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. The 1 meter tower seems very ambitious. I actually did run the short tower before we left for the summer for like an hour, and I did notice that it doesn't. It's not super. Well, it's pretty reliable, but some of the teeth can start to get loose if you run it for like an extended period of time. So it's not like it can run maintenance free for like a full day or anything. Zafar, are the marbles in your videos from LEGO? Yes. Yeah, I haven't tried any of the third-party ones yet. I'm sure they're fine based on everything I've read. But I happen to have a fair bit of the LEGO ones, so I just use them. Yo, what are your next projects on this channel? Well, you'll just have to wait and find out. I use Technic lift arms linked to a chain for my microsail monorail with wheels on rubber bands driving them. Yep. Yeah, that's another thing I thought about. And if you want to go any further, I think that's the way to do it. You need a deeper space below the ground level to run it, though. Yeah. Yes, you would. So one of the limitations, constraints I set for myself on this project is that I wanted to have it all below the standard Micropolis ground level. So that's why I went with this. So in theory, we should have. All right, so now my train can move back and forth pretty much the full length of the street, at least for one city block. So as I turn this crank, it moves from side to side. Obviously, it's not a very long commuter route, but you know, you do what you can, do what you got to do. It's micro scale, so we can just consider that the movement is in micro scale as well. So basically, obviously, just as it is now, the train's going to go all willy-nilly. We need to somehow constrain this. So we need to build. We're going to build we'll leave a channel. As we build up the rest of the ground, we're going to leave a channel for this. You should make Lego hand again. Oh. I'm amazed by your creativity. Such a big fan. Oh, thanks, Till. Oh, Wolforce. Hey, I got some circuit cubes in there. Awesome. Yeah, too bad they don't have a motor that returns to position. Oh, for wheel steering. Maybe you have some solution for that. Interesting, yeah. That's not something I actually use a lot or need a lot, so I haven't experimented with it. JK, did you see the micro version 3D printed of the Lego duck? Oh yeah, I saw somebody posted that the other, or I don't know where I saw it. I saw it somewhere yesterday, I think. That actually works. It was issued on AFOL Day at Lego House. Yeah, I haven't seen a video of it actually working. I assume the beak just kind of pops up and down. Yanis, how many cameras do I have? Right now I have 3 set up. We have a GoPro for this shot. I have a really crappy Logitech webcam for the overhead shot. And I have a DLSR for this shot. I would like to upgrade this one at least at some point, because the color on it is not super awesome, but you know, do what you gotta do. It's train or a tram? It's a good question. For the short travel, it's probably a tram, I would guess. I don't know. Okay, so we need to, there's a couple things that need to happen here. I'm gonna build up the base like so we can build some ground, and like I said, we'll leave a channel for the train to run through, but I need to add some supports here, and I need to add some supports that don't interfere with the movement of this. And we'll try and, yeah, so I think I put a brick there, that's fine. And maybe put a brick here. Yeah, that works. And I pretty much can't put anything else by the looks of it. I guess I can put like a 1x2 there. Put one there. Put a brick here. I think that's all I've pretty much... So we're gonna put a piece of ground there. So now we've already constrained it on one half. Are you gonna make a second train on the other side? No. So what's gonna happen, I think, I'm gonna drive this using a motor. So that's actually gonna take up a bunch of space, and it's actually gonna come up above the ground level because I'll use the circuit cubes components, but even still, they're bigger. They're like 2 bricks high. So I'm gonna, whatever, we'll build our little motor housing here, and I'm actually gonna disguise it as a building. So we're gonna put a building here to cover up the motors and the little bit of gearing that we'll have. And then I'll just do some terrain around it. No trains are connected at the bottom. All right. And then we'll get, again, I'm just gonna see what our, I guess I can just build this up fully, pretty much. For this side of the ground. Oh, and there we go. We got a train that goes back and forth, and I think I'm gonna gear it down quite a bit so it moves pretty slowly. But yeah, it seems to work. Beauty. Okay, so I'm actually going to continue the pattern, the standard pattern here. I already got a bunch of tiles out for the sidewalk and a bunch of tiles out for the roadway, so I don't have to go get them. And we're just going to assume that whatever, we'll need some sidewalk or some kind of platform on the other side of the train for people to get in and out. So we'll just build up some gray tiles on that. Are you going to add micro figures? I haven't seen a lot of actual people on these micro scale layouts because I think the people would be super tiny. They basically have to fit inside this train. Okay, so we have a nice channel for the train to move back and forth on. Excellent. Oh, it actually works pretty smooth. That's nice. Okay, now we're gonna drive this. So I'm gonna need to somehow drive this with a motor. So we'll need another splat gear. I'll use a smaller one to gear it down. And we'll just stick this on a turntable as well. And we'll stick that there. And now we're going to have to mount a motor. So okay, so because this, again, I really wish these had an axle hole in them, but then of course I'd probably find some use that I want a freewheeling hole in them. So it's actually, if it had an axle hole, you wouldn't be able to freewheel them. And with a smooth technical, you can always add a technical by getting 2x2 plate, so I guess it's probably better that they just left it as a smooth Technic hole. And then that will allow me to stick an axle in there. Which, do I have an axle floating around? Maybe, maybe not. I think I just need a short axle for this. And we're gonna go back to conventional Technic gears because it's easier to connect to a motor. Oh, interesting. Actually, in theory, you could just mount this because it's got stud holes like right on this. But I actually need to bring it up a little bit because I need to I'm gonna put a worm gear on it. Worm gear meshed with this. So in order to mount the worm gear, I need to bring it up a bit. So we're actually just gonna put a smooth tile here. And a axle. And a 24 tooth gear. But actually I want to constrain this a little bit more. So I'm going to get a Technic plate with holes. I'm going to mount that on, and that way that axle is super secure. We have a Technic. And as I said, we're going to get a worm gear. And we're going to mount this worm gear laterally to drive that 24 tooth gear. Yanis, how do you become a mod? I don't know. Are you good at modding? Do we need some mods? Oh my god, Vrushnat Vlogs, what are you doing there, buddy? Oh, Yanis wants to be a mod. Do you have any idea how to be a mod? Sure. We'll see how you do. Moderators, in theory, don't really need to do a whole lot. Just hopefully get rid of the spam if it shows up. Well, R. Hamburg, you seem like a trustworthy guy. You're always here. You can be a mod, and you can be a mod. Everybody can be a mod. Okay, so we're gonna mount this laterally. I kind of was ignoring the chat there for a minute. I do have a hard time. I get distracted by building. It's really fun. Second train looks better. Oh yes, I do have I'm gonna have to get some opinions on the trains. And I probably will still modify them even more. Actually, here we go. Let's go. It's vote time. Oh, I should probably just take it off. Okay, here's train. This will be this will be train number 1. They actually look very similar. This is train number 2. It's just a bit higher. Actually, I want to use these brackets in red, but I don't have any. They do exist, but I just don't have any right now. Oh, R. Hamburg. Nice, but I have to go in 5 minutes. That's fine. Yanis can take over the fort. Train number 1, train number 2. Train number 2, obviously. 2. Well, 1 for 1. 2. Okay, we'll go with 2. I'll have to order. Well, I'm gonna order some of these brackets in red to see how it looks with them in red. But R. Hamburg goes 1. Well, thankfully they're very easy to interchange, so I guess we'll put 2 on for now and see how it works. Which train looks better may also depend on the how the rest of the model works. Not sure what scale the building will seem. Oh, train 2 seems too bulky, not enough of that aerodynamics. Yeah, could be. You could use this function to make a microscale subway if you want. Yes, probably. Andrew Show, shout out please. Sure. Okay, so we're gonna mount this laterally. So we're going to need to get some Technic bricks. And okay, I'm gonna need to get some pieces. I also want to mount this so I'm gonna build a little platform. Oh, obviously that's not gonna work. That's got to be high enough for the crank to clear. Oh yeah, I better make sure there's enough clearance here for everything. Okay, that works. I'm gonna get... I need some 1x2 bricks for support. Okay, now in theory, I should be able to mount something up there. I need some plates. Okay, that clears everything. Then we will get... And for this, I'm going to use the Circuit Cubes motor because they are super tiny. Batty Gaming, sir, I will see all your videos. Well, that's great. Awesome. Who like when the pieces fit together? I like it when the pieces fit together. Okay, yeah, so that's cool. We can mount this right on there. So in theory... we can get a Circuit Cubes motor. Excellent. And in theory, I have the battery box here charging away. So actually, let's hopefully it's got some charge on it. Oh, excellent. Obviously, it's a bit loud. Okay. What do we got going on here? Very slick. That's amazing. Oh, thanks. Yeah, it actually seems to work quite well. Obviously, it's a bit loud, but it'll be my never-ending goal to find quiet motors that are LEGO compatible. Perfect speed. Yeah, I like the fact that it goes a bit slow. It's a bit. I think some of it could be. Yeah, I didn't want it to move too fast because, and it actually slows down at the end, which is quite nice. Like it's pulling into the station. It does seem to stutter a little bit. Oh yeah, that was probably just a little bit of friction in the channel. Yes, it makes a lot of noise. Hopefully some of that noise will be mitigated when we... Actually, I don't think I'll be able to cover it up fully. Okay, so what do we want to do here? So I'm gonna, like I said at the beginning, I'm gonna cover this up with some kind of building. I actually already did start prototyping how I want this building to look. So I'll probably just do some kind of library. I was experimenting with different window styles and such, but I'll probably do like some arches at the bottom, like so. See, overdue. Love the engineering fluid moving mechanisms you come up with. Oh, thanks. Awesome. I built a galloping horse. Oh yeah, for my spare parts after you post instructions. Still going strong. Excellent. Health and strength to you. Thanks, you too as well. Yeah, so prototype this. We're gonna try and fit this. In theory, it'll fit right on here. But I actually might. Actually, I might build this up one plate more because I think I might want to put the. I'm gonna put well, can't see anything. I'm gonna try and put I want to put the battery box at the bottom, although then I won't be able to access it to turn it on. That might be problematic. I guess I could try and put it in the top of the building. Actually, I think I'm going to do this, and I am going to worry about turning it on later. I'm actually going to... or not. Okay, no, actually, I changed my mind. I'm going to go back the way I had it. And we are going to... we're going to try and mount the motor inside the building at some point, or the battery inside the building at some point, yeah. It's slow, but it looks great, yeah. I'd rather intentionally run it slow. You could definitely run it a lot faster if I didn't gear down the... Oh, Wolf Force. Is this part of a bigger Micropolis build? Do you already have a bunch of other modules? No, this is actually the first Micropolis module I'll make. But our local group, Parliament, is running a Micropolis challenge currently. So at the next meeting, we'll get a bunch of them together. Everybody will bring their little modules and we'll have a little display, which will be pretty cool. Okay, so... Anyway, I'm going to start building up the ground again. In theory, now that this is all built, we can add some terrain, start hiding some of this stuff up. And in theory, again, we want to make sure... So I'm just going to take this off. Make sure none of the supports we put in there interfere with the travel. You always got to leave room for the mechanism. Oh, interesting. Will that leave enough of a gap? Oh yeah, that works. Excellent. Just barely clears. Are you going to add some skyscrapers? No, actually, I think I want to go for some kind of more traditional, buildings in this. For this one, well, actually, I think there'll only be one building. That one building, and I want to decorate the rest with some like parkland and such. I like green space in my cities, so in my real cities, so I think I'd like some green space in this city as well. So I'll put the sidewalks back in, or in, I guess. Okay. And, oh, yeah, I already just done messed up. That clearly can't go there. Building around the gear, yep. Make the gray plate supporting the axle green. Oh yeah, it'll all be buried under the. Oh yeah, this one maybe. I think this building. I'm gonna have some concrete around the building. There's gonna be like a little causeway. At least that's my that's my plan anyway. We'll see how this goes. So we're gonna build up. The building will also be raised a little bit, like it's got some concrete steps up to it and such. You can make a mountain to hide the rest. Well, yes, it is supposed to be in a city though, so maybe a mountain won't be that appropriate. Would this same mechanism work with a wider trench? Yeah, it would for sure. If you want to make a 2 wide train or 4 or 6 or my sidewalk flew away. Oh yeah, the sidewalk flew away. Okay. So we are going to make a base for this. I'm going to need to get some plates. So like I said, I'm going to make some staircases going up to this. So we're going to need... Just trying to get the spacing right on this. So this building is actually going to be 7 wide because of the arches I'm using. I'll show you them. I'm using these small arches that came in, well, they've been used in a bunch of stuff. Actually, that's a terrible view for that. Bunch of sets. I think they were first introduced in the large microscale Harry Potter castle. So we have these funky little arches, but they're great for making like microscale arches. And they have a corner piece as well, which I'm using. So if you mount them together, you get some cool arches. But as a result of the spacing on these, you end up with an odd number of studs if you use them all the way. So this is 7 studs wide, and I don't know how many, 11 maybe, 8, 13 studs long. And I think that'll be big enough to house everything. So in theory this will be right here, which means I think I'll have like a 2 stud causeway. So it'll be that 1, 2, and then the steps to go down. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3. Oh, and then that might be the ground. Let's see how this works out. I think I'm gonna need a lot of 1x2 plates, so I'm just gonna bring that out. We're gonna go 7 wide this way. 5, 6, 7. And also 7, 8, 9. I'm gonna build a little base here. Microfigures exist, yes. Microfigures exist, but I think they might be a bit large for this scale, actually. Okay, excellent. But we also need to cover all this up as well. And actually, this tile is at the same level as the greenery. So actually, this greenery, actually, I'll just build this up. It's got to be one plate higher than the rest of it. So I'm actually just going to put that there to cover that up completely. Then that'll be the edge of the roof. Okay. Just trying to get the spacing on this all set up for our epic building. James Clutterbuck. J.K. Bickus, would you consider going to the LEGO Masters TV show? Yeah, that doesn't really interest me, to be honest. It's not something I am too keen on. I usually like to take my time building. Although on these live streams, clearly that's not really the case. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what I say, this was going to be 13. So that works. And then we're going to need to build that up as well. Start building the base of this up a little bit. We'll just keep adding more plates. And then we're going to have to build that up. We'll just grab some bricks and go. So this building is going to go all the way to here, and then as I said, we're going to need 2, 1, 2 studs. So it's going to have to come out 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I think here we're just gonna build up. Excellent. Keep motor inside the building. Do you ever plan builds out on the computer with software? Occasionally I do some prototyping with software. When I do use Bricklink Studio, I find it pretty cool, pretty nice. It's definitely my go-to piece of software for that. Will you be doing a continuation of the tramline? I don't think I'll continue it any further than it is already going. That's as far as we'll get. This axle was sticking out past the... One unfortunate thing about these Circuit Cubes motors is the hole that the axle sits in is not quite a full stud deep, so they end up sticking out the other end if you have them. But that's fine, I'll just put a studless axle in there. That will work well. Need a 2x3 and a 1x1. Oh, actually I need another 1x1. Okay, so I think I finally, a 2x4, have the base of my building. Oh no, I have no 1x3 light gray tiles around. Okay, so I think this will be the base of my building. No, actually I've got to go 1, 2. Actually, that's even better. I'll just put a 3x3 plate there, and a 2x6, and a 1x2. Okay, here I have the base of my building. Actually, it's got to go even further. Two by 4, 2x2. Okay, now we can actually start transferring this over. I don't know how well that's going to work. We might have to do it piecemeal. Might just have to take it apart and do it again. That's fine. That's at least it's easy to do. Our hamburger, thanks for joining. The backside of a LEGO 1x1 brick modified headlight with stud works really well as a window on micro builds. Indeed it does. I've definitely done that before. I have built micro scale before, just not these Micropolis. Not these Micropolis modules. What are you doing, JK Brickworks? I am building a Micropolis module with a moving train or tram. At least that's the goal anyway. No, that's not even where that goes. Right now I'm building a building to house the motor and the battery box. So we got a building. At least the beginnings. We have a foundation and a building. So we have a building. The bare bones of the building. So in theory, I also need to mount this motor in here somewhere. Well, actually, maybe I'll just fit it in sideways. Actually, that's probably a great idea. There's enough space here, and then I can access the switch to turn it on from above. Yeah, that works quite well. Well, actually, I meant to tile underneath all this, but whatever, I can do that later. And let's just make sure that this all still works after I covered it all up. I guess I should plug this in while I still have access to the motor. Excellent. Okay, so in theory, it's even louder than before. It's like an echo chamber. Okay, so that is pretty much that. Excellent. So to be honest, that's pretty much it for the mechanics of this model. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna finish this on stream. It seems it's gonna take me a long time to finish doing all this, and it's not gonna be all that interesting, I don't think, for everybody. And I think, what have we been running up now, like an hour? That's probably good enough for this live stream. I did what I set out to do, which is always a bonus. And we got something that works, which is pretty cool. And I'll be sure to... I'll probably try and finish this up the rest of the day. Add some detailing. I think I'm going to put some stairs going up here, and maybe some like railings, some like concrete railings around this. I'll probably put 2 more floors of windows on this. It'll be some kind of library or something. And then I'll probably add some green space, some trees and such. I already started experimenting with these, small little trees. We'll put some trees around. And then I also was experimenting with some like little bus stop shelters of some sort to protect the passengers of the tram. Maybe we'll mount some of those here. Maybe put some pathways. Maybe we'll get a little fountain in the park or something. How you can lower the noise levels. Yeah, well, that's the trick, isn't it? I mean, you could just run the motor slower. If you use Bluetooth to control it. For the person asking if I could show the train working again, here we go. Seems to work quite nicely. It is super loud, so not much we can do about that. Don't forget to make a short on it. Yeah, I'll make a short about it. I'll definitely post the finished model to all my various social media, Instagram, etc. TikTok. I'm on TikTok now, so everybody wants to see TikToks. Well, would you make it past the train to another module, letting you do longer train runs? Yeah, I mean, that would be pretty sweet. But obviously it'd need to be a lot more complex. Is there a way to convert the sound into actual train sound, maybe? I mean, it does sound like a train. Really, really poor train. All right. Anyway, I just want to thank everyone for joining. Thanks for being part of the unboxing of my fancy button. It was pretty exciting, this stream. I'll be back next week. Next week, I think I'm going to be building a set, actually. Yeah. We'll try and do weekly streams from now on, maybe every Friday. Blocks Boa. Awesome. I love your name. I enjoyed the stream. Thanks for making my 19th birthday not quite as boring. Oh, congratulations and happy birthday. It's a milestone for sure. The bus cabin is a little big. Yeah, probably. I have a smaller train. People seem to like the larger one, though. Is that Hal in the background? Yes, that is Hal in the background. Okay, quick Q&A. Where buy t-shirt? I don't think you can buy this shirt anymore. It's from a defunct website. Don't forget to make a short on it. Yes, indeed. Yanis, thanks for being a moderator. And our Hamburger as well, who is no longer in the chat. But how did you and Crystal meet? We met at the climbing gym. rock climbing gym many years ago. I'm expecting to see the full Micropolis someday. Well, I probably won't build it, but perhaps I will take a picture at the meeting when we have them all together. John Armstrong, first time here. This was an incredible experience. Thank you. Oh, cheers. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thanks for joining. I think the small train is quite nice. Thanks. This is the shorter, or like, yeah, I guess shorter. I guess the same length. It's not quite as tall. The taller, the shorter in terms of stature train. This one does seem a little bit too tall. This one's only 4 plates tall. This one's 5 plates tall. So we'll see. Again, when I get the building finished and all the other terrain, we'll kind of see which one kind of fits in better. I think that'll give a better sense of which one is a better scale. Oh, do you think buying the Lion Knight Castle is worth it? Ooh. For me, no. But obviously everybody's different. But I mean, I think it's a pretty awesome looking set. Oh, Svensson, Scarebeck is missing you this weekend. Yes, I wish I could be at Scarebeck. For those who don't know, Scarebeck is happening this weekend. It's an event in Denmark, in the town of Scarebeck. It's like an hour from Billund, headquarters of LEGO, and there's all kinds of activities at LEGO headquarters happening. Do you have a community Discord? No, I do not, Wolf Force. I have too many social things to keep track of already. Where do you get cool LEGO motors? Well, this motor is a Circuit Cubes motor. If you go to circuitcubes.com, you can buy small motors. Otherwise, I just use LEGO motors. But I use these ones a lot when I'm trying to fit motors into small spaces. How would you incorporate curves in the tram line? Well, that's a whole other ball of wax. In theory, if you were here at the beginning, you saw how this lever makes an arc. So in theory, you could just add the train to the end of that, and it would actually go back and forth in an arc. But you'd obviously have to build up this channel using wedge plates and such to like approximate a curve, which might look a bit... I think that works well at a larger scale, but at a micro scale like this, it might look a bit chunky. Fan of Hero. What do you think of Denmark? It's pretty flat. That was my impression. Actually, it's not like super flat, but it was nice. It's actually a very similar terrain to where I live here in Canada, in terms of like trees and grass and rolling hills and such. It's like a very similar ecosystem. So yeah, I mean, it was nice. I mean, the Lego house is awesome, obviously. So is Legoland. Will Lego make smaller motors soon? Yeah, I'm gonna say big fat no on that one. Viva Canada. Cheers, thanks. What about using a chain in a slot that drags the tram around? Yes. Then you can have curves as well. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I mean, that's a great idea. And then you can just route the chain around whatever like gearing and such you have. The reason I didn't do it in this model is because of the space constraints. As I said at the beginning, I wanted to keep everything within this Micropolis standard. So all of the gearing had to fit within 4 studs, basically. Or 4 plates. Had to fit in a space that's 4 plates high. So that's why I went with this. As soon as you add gears and a chain, as soon as you try and mount the gears, you get, it just becomes a little bit too tight. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely a great idea. It's definitely been done before for other models that I've seen other people do. Oh, I think Denmark has a lot more of a sea climate than Canada. Well, yes. I mean, Canada, in case you didn't know, is an enormous country. And the climate, there's no one climate in Canada. And where I live in Canada is very similar to the interior of Denmark. Obviously, Denmark has a lot of coast, but I mean, there's coastal regions in Canada as well, on either side of the coast, and they vary quite a bit from each other as well. Wolf Force, what other third-party Lego stuff do you use? Not a lot, actually. I think Circuit Cubes is pretty much the only thing I use regularly, for sure. I mean, obviously, I have a PFX brick because I'm part of FX Bricks, and I do use that occasionally as a controller, although not so much recently. Brickanista, oh, welcome to the chat. Awesome, you're adding motion to Micropolis. Yeah, we'll see. Actually, I was thinking of maybe I should put if I made this like a tech building of some sort, I could put like a radar dish on top and have it rotate using the same, just extend this axle further up and have it rotate. Or maybe put a rotating restaurant on the top of this building. Oh, that might be interesting. Actually, that might be a great idea, although I would have to change what this building is, maybe. Whatever, we'll see. Do you watch any other Lego YouTubers? If so, what's your favorite? I mean, I don't watch them regularly, I would say. I mean, I do watch a lot of Lego YouTubers just because I watch a lot of Lego YouTube videos. But, like, I mean, Akiyuki is obviously an exceptional builder. And I pretty much watch all of his videos. Yoshihito doesn't post a lot on YouTube, but he makes good stuff as well. Yes, rotating restaurant. Yes. Now that we've talked about that, I'm definitely going to do that. Did you ever make a build that made it to become an official Lego set? Well, this maze was originally my design. The pop-up book is Grant Davis and my original design, although obviously these were both, redesigned by the Lego designers through Lego Ideas. The Pursuit of Flight was done just recently through the Bricklink Designer Program. And I guess that's a CATA model, the Orrery, so it's not official Lego. Bring it to BrickCon or send it over. Yeah, BrickCon's coming up. I don't know if I'll make it. Probably not, but yeah. Did you see the Microscale maglev train from the German YouTuber Bricks im Kampf? No, I did not. I will definitely look that up. Let me copy that comment and make a note of it. I'll stick it in my search so that I'll remember. Would it be permissible to the train as an elevated rail like you see in Chicago? Give us more space for the gearing. Yeah, unfortunately, the height of the train isn't the problem with the gearing. The problem with the gearing is all the space below. It's mostly the actual mechanism. You could definitely raise the train up to have it elevated for sure, but you would also have, if you wanted to raise or have more complex gearing that took up more vertical space, you'd basically have to raise the entire height of the module, which you could definitely do. Obviously, no city, well, not a lot of cities are perfectly flat. There's a lot of terrain within them, so you could definitely build up the train and add more space, but that's not the challenge I set out for myself today. So if you wanted to do it a bit differently, you definitely could, for sure. Would you redo it into a trolley modular like your airplane Pursuit of Flight, make it modular? Like this model? I mean, you could definitely restyle the tram, but because I live in Ottawa, most of my vehicles are red and white, OC Transpo style. Yanis, hey Jason, can you show the Ultimate Lego Machine if you have it again? Actually, I think I don't have it together anymore. How about use some tracks like you did on the Super Mario Piranha Plant? Yep. That's definitely a possibility. It could definitely be done that way. The big black box, yep. Or am I a LEGO certified professional? No. No, I am not, Daniel. Yeah, the issue with elevated is still have to hide the gearing somehow. Maybe use splat gears if the vertical space is an issue. Yes, Breakanista. I mean, I did use splat gears. That's what's underneath all this. I want to see you tackle an incline in the tram line now. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I think that wouldn't be too bad to do. You just need some kind of flexible connection and some way. But this city is flat, so it wouldn't make any sense. But if I built up some terrain, then yeah, maybe that could be a thing. Steep hills of San Francisco, yeah. I mean, it'd be cool to see a San Francisco Micropolis or part of a Micropolis city that had steep terrain. It would probably be pretty interesting to try and get some, play around with the topography to get some interesting things going on. Start building. I'm done building now. We're just in chat mode now, so apparently I've been chatting. We're just in Q&A mode. I came in late. Good to know you're using the splat gears. Yes, the splat gears, I think they're all hidden actually. You can't see them. Yeah, I love the splat gears. Do you hate dust when it sticks to Lego? Yeah. Elias Kirkwood. Welcome to the chat. There's another Micropolis back. Yeah, actually, this is Crystal's. As I said, this is a challenge for our lug. So any lug members who want to participate can build a Micropolis module, and we'll put them all together at the next meeting. So Crystal's been working on one. It's basically just like some kind of ornamental garden. Actually, it's supposed to be a bunch of different trees and stuff. Obviously, there's a nice fountain. Anyway, obviously it's not built up on the Micropolis base yet, but oh no, and our fountain clearly had water in it. Yeah, anyway, it's supposed to be a botanical garden with a lot of different varieties of trees in it. Okay. I think we're good to go now, though. It's almost lunchtime here for me. Thanks for everybody for joining. Thanks for Yanis for sticking around and doing some modding. Thanks for our Hamburg for also modding. Really appreciate you guys and what you do. And thanks for everybody else for tuning in. Really appreciate the chat. And it's always great to chat with everybody live. Oh, Enthusiastic Banana is still kicking around. Excellent. Thanks for joining as well. And yeah, we'll see you in a week. Hopefully, unless something else comes up. I will, of course, post the final version of this on social media. I'll probably make a post on YouTube as well, and I'll probably make a short video of it as well. So yeah, thanks for everybody. Hope everybody has a good day. Thanks for watching. Keep on building, and we'll see you